And as you can see, I've got my huge chopper out. And there's a reason for that. We are at Banteay, Chhmar. This is just a tiny section of it. It is very big indeed. So, some people may be asking, well, how can it be forgotten if it's so big? The definition of forgotten temples here is tourists don't really go to them and they don't know about them. And that's why I do these videos. But we have little time to chat because we have so much to see. And I've had a sneak peek, and round there are some carvings that really, really have got me excited because they are mind-bendingly great and a bit weird, and they've just been restored. So they're crisp and clean. They remind me of a Greek sort of thing going on, but you will see that in just a moment. And here we are at this enormous basque relief. We've never seen this before. And we're going to romp down it and just show you some of the details. Here we have this lady who's quoted as many things because she's even recognized in China and of course certainly India. We're talking about Hinduism here, with her numerous arms that hold numerous things, and there's a lot of history behind her, including kind of being the creator of the universe and things, but I won't go into that. We just don't have the time. These fantastic carvings all the way, but the wall has taken some damage, and it's only at the end that we can give you a picture and a bit of a story as to what's going on, and that is fantastic, and that's just at the end. But what I also absolutely love is we've found an old friend of ours who's depicted here, and that is the elephant. So we're going to go and visit him. I've studied this, finding out bits, and Sven, hopefully you're getting a feel for the size of this. And what all this is depictions of war, and of, if we just pause gently here, we can see soldiers, we can see them carrying their spears. This gentleman's got his spear, his lance, and there's a bit of an elephant there. And as we come down, we can see a chariot wheel, and so it goes on. And here is Mr. Elephant. He does so much for us, and we often see him so often. And this is the top of his head. Here's his tusks here, and there is his resplendent trunk. And also very interesting is this gentleman. Now, I feel quite chummy with this bloke because I used to drink an awful lot of alcohol, and this guy has stopped to have a drink. So good for him. Now then, we're gonna go to the end, and there is something, a tale depicted in a basque relief where we get to see all sorts of wonderful characters. And at the end here, where it seems that it hasn't fallen down, it's not so juggled up, higgledy-piggledy, we can actually interpret the story, and it's an interesting one, and we can actually get to see the ancient Khmers. And if we look up, what we see here is a priest of some sort. Now, his hand, and he's got his courtier, but what's happening as it's coming down to what I would say is lower order priests here, we can clearly see these gentlemen in this era are pouring what would be blessed water, something of that nature, and this is tumbling down here. And here we, at the lowest level, we have the common people, and they are collecting. They've got this bowl here, and there's 1, 2, 3 people supporting this, and just below this, what we see, and this is repeated, is crooked people, so older people, I would say, and they've got canes. And as we come along, we can enforce this thought of older people. We've got another gentleman here who's crooked. We have a gentleman here who's very interesting because he looks like he's ill. He's sitting down, his head here, he seems to have rather a big tummy, and this lady here has his arm around him, kind of nursing him. And we also have children depicted. So if we come over to here, it's not so easy to see. Just between my hands there, we can see these two little legs, and there was a head there. And over here is the smallest of the smallest, this little one here, barely the size of my finger. So what we have is, from those that are very holy, you know, touching the sky, sacred, right at the top, and we see it passing down to your priests and so on, and finally along come the people. They bring their sick, they bring their needy, they bring their elderly and infirm, and they even bring their children. So that is remarkable. We don't have photos of that time, do we? Of course not. But this is a very solid second best. And isn't this impressive? It's dark, it's gloomy, it's mossy, it's ancient. It just stinks of being ancient. It feels ancient. It's just a beautiful place to be. And we're inside one of the walls here. Now, these wouldn't have been like this with this vaulted ceiling you can see here. What it would have been is there's wood that would have made a flat ceiling, and on that wood would be carvings. They've found examples of these. So this would have been, some of the locals do refer to these as libraries, but it's impossible to say. They could well be right. But what I see here is, obviously, you can imagine people walking up and down. The high priests, I'd imagine, only the elite, would have walked these very corridors. And that, to me, is fascinating. And this is actually inside, where the temples themselves are. It's all rather broken down. And over here is a walkway. Now, these walkways are new. My cameraman Sven was here 2 years ago, and that walkway wasn't there. But I'll zoom in, and you can see where I was inside the wall. It's just here. Where that curved roof was, and we can see, look at it, it's like it's been bombed. It's in a terrible state of repair, still as charming as ever, but this is the heart of it all. We've seen the basque reliefs, and we've seen inside the wall and some other views, but this is the reason for it all, and it is quite staggering. It is huge, this place. And here I am, amongst one of the many, there's so many doorways, so much debris, so many prasats. It's massive. I can only show a part of it because I do try and keep these things to 10 minutes. It is fantastic. It's been a wonderful day. As I say, it's the third day of our tour, and it's served up an absolute delight. This has been Mr. B at a grand temple, and a forgotten one, here in Cambodia.